When General Yermolov had received an invitation to the Caucasus, he needed to show how Russia felt about the deeds of the highlanders. Even if full-scale military action had not been deployed, but the imperial soldiers were on hand. The number of Chechen prisoners was small, but Pavel Shvetsov, a Russian officer, was among them. How Pavel Shvetsov ended up as a prisoner of war. The story began in February of the 16th century. Pavel went on leave to see his relatives. His way passed through the mountainous region of Dagestan, so he hoped to shorten the distance and spend more time with his loved ones in Kizlyar. Shvetsov realized that the way he had chosen was dangerous. Therefore, he decided to stop in Kazir and ask for help. But he did not wait for it from the head of the settlement. He said that he didn't receive this instruction from above. A Kumyk prince was next in line. Shvetsov went to him with a request for a convoy. He complied with his request and sent 18 more men together with Pavel. The small convoy was destined to ride a little. The highlanders attacked the group. The horse was gone. Paul, drawing his saber, began to fight the Chechens. He managed to cut down 3 of them. When he looked around, he discovered that the soldiers were no longer with him. 11 had been hacked down in the course of the battle, 3 had disappeared in an unknown direction, and another 3 were lying badly wounded, almost motionless. Support rushed in from the direction of Kizlyar, but the Chechens were faster. They approached from the opposite direction, which made it easy to capture Shvetsov. In a matter of hours, search parties were formed from both the Kizlyar and the Kazir sides. They went in search of the highlanders. Having managed to overtake the opponents, they began to negotiate. Peace would not have come to an end, because the Chechens said firmly that they would fight to the last man. The first to fall would be Shvetsov, the officer they had captured. The numerous unit of almost 100 men began to retreat. They could not afford to lose Pavel. Life in captivity next captivity. There were no other options, and Shvetsov found himself in a previously unknown AUL. As Pato wrote, there were those among the highlanders who purposefully insulted the Russian officer and even waved a dagger in his face. And only one thing kept him alive: the highlanders needed the captive alive, as a trump card. So he ended up in chains in an obscure room. 2 months had passed. No one came for Shvetsov. Consequently, the regime began to loosen, because Pavel himself did not try to escape. He was given more food and allowed to send letters to his relatives. A considerable ransom was also set for him, on the background of which Paul's brother, police chief of Kizlyar, decided to release him. But to no avail. The attack was easily repulsed by the highlanders. Consequently, the conditions of Shvetsov's detention instantly deteriorated, became worse than the original. It had been 1 year and 4 months. How they rescued Pavel, and what does General Yermolov have to do with it? It was obvious that one could not simply get out of the Caucasian captivity. When General Yermolov learned of this incident, he immediately wrote to Shvetsov's mother, "We need to take care of our comrades in arms. Do not worry. We will do our best to have a positive effect on the fate of your child." A statement for the Kumyk princes and large landowners followed from Yermolov, but not for all of them, but only for those of them where Paul passed with a petition for escort, and where he was refused. Yermolov said that within a week and a half they should collect the funds for his ransom, or otherwise they themselves would end up on the gallows. The princes and landowners were frightened, which caused them to find all the necessary 10,000. But to pay on behalf of the Tsar was impossible. Therefore Yermolov struck another trick and negotiated with the Avar Khan for the ransom to go through his hands. The negotiations were successful. The ransom was handed over and Shvetsov was returned home without tarnishing the Tsar's name.